Boog, like, how do you sum what you saw up?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a cool ending. You feel like you're a little bit a part of history, and getting a chance to be here last year when Freeman hit the walk-off in the 10th inning, the grand slam, and then he does it again last night, only in 18. It was pretty wild. It's one of the coolest games I've called.
I was going to say, is that a loss that the Blue Jays, I get it, it's just one loss, but one that kind of sits with them because of how it all went down, Boog?
I mean, I think there's part of that, but then the other thing is just, the sort of attrition that takes place. You lose Springer, your pitching gets into a spot, and that game, once you're in 18 innings and it comes down to one run, it becomes very random. And now they're in a jam where, they certainly need to win this game tonight because they're staring at Blake Snell tomorrow. And I think he'll pitch much better than he did in game one. So, they're in a jam right now. I don't think there's any doubt. And they had a bunch of opportunities, and, there were so many moves. Like, that's the other thing, is if you're a baseball fan, there were just from pinch running to intentional walks to all of it. There was just a lot of strategy.
Boog, like I said to Waddle earlier, this is the most excited I've been for a baseball game that I wasn't cheering for in a long time tonight, because, like, now we just turn around, we go back to our televisions, and now Shohei's on the mound. Yeah. It's truly incredible. Where do you believe, like, if he continues to be healthy over the years, do you think we'll be talking about him as maybe the greatest athlete we've seen?
Yeah, I mean, again, you wait for it to play out. He's 31, but I mean, I think that until we start to get towards the end, then it's probably better to really address something like that. But tonight's a good example where, okay, so you go to last night and he was cramping on the bases. He was on his feet. I mean, you reach base safely 9 times, and now he's being asked to pitch. Realistically, you're sitting there saying, okay, so what's a reasonable expectation? I mean, if you can get him 4 or 5 innings or something like that, and yet if he goes out and fires, 6 strong innings tonight, the joke's on us. Like what? Yeah. At the end of that, we're going to go, this guy's really special. I mean, at a certain point, it's kind of like, okay, he's proven what a unicorn he is. So, I think that I would have to anticipate that there'll be some limitations based on the after effect of last night and fatigue and just the overall burden of the double duty. But he's different, man.
Yeah. We have a rule that we want to pitch to you too. But from a fan standpoint, I know you're broadcasting the game, and I also know that Toronto's got a game to win. But how badly do you want to see them, at least in the first inning, pitch to Shohei and not just put him on?
Yeah, they will. I'll tell you that right now. They're not going to intentionally walk him to begin the game.
Oh, they won't, because that had been talked about.
Yeah, I don't see. I think they'll pitch him to begin the game. I don't think that they're going to put him. They're going to put him on like that. So, look, I think he's a great example, by the way, of the idea of people thinking that they can see who's hot and who's not, but you are until you aren't, and you aren't until you are. I mean, he was so ice cold and looked so lost, in the same way that Mookie right now looks completely lost, and he is until he isn't. So, like, thinking you can see it in real time, you can't. And, right now it feels like he's hot, and he is until he's 0 for 4. You know what I'm saying? So Sure. It's one of those challenging things. But I do think they'll pitch to him the first time, and then I think you're going to see him probably walk, 3 or 4 times.
Waddle's got a proposed rule for you.
Yeah, listen, I'm a moron, but I said next year you implement the Ohtani rule where in any game you can only walk a certain player intentionally one time. That's it. You can't.
Yeah, look, I get it. I think, it's. Here's what I would say to you. I would answer it in the macro. Like, I don't think it's ridiculous. I think that if you're baseball, those of us a certain age that enjoyed watching, baseball played a certain way, you've got to be open to change and growth. And I just don't think that for younger fans they're going to take the game in the same way we did. And so this idea that you can take a great player and the one time that he gets to participate, you can basically make it so that he doesn't participate. And then we have to wait for 8 more guys to hit to get the chance to even decide again. You know, it's not hard to figure out why people are watching, or younger people are watching other sports. I would just say this in terms of the proposed rule change. I mean, look, there's a logistical component that's hard because they'd still try to walk him, et cetera. But I do think that the sport going forward needs to be consistently open to change, to stuff like the pitch clock, to stuff that makes it so that the best players get an opportunity to be seen, to impact the game, so that the game moves faster, so that the ball is in play more. I think anything should be on the table, I guess, is my point going forward, because it's a great sport. But if you're going to stay married to, but it's always been this way, it has to stay this way, you're going to lose.
Boog, having taken a meteorology class at Boston College, I am aware of the weather.
Hey, can you just go back? Can you say that word again for me, please?
A meteorology class.
That was tough.
Thanks.
Again.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I can do it 3 times fast. Meteorology. You guys do it now.
Meteorology.
So I appreciate weather. I see it shorts and T-shirt weather tonight. So I have 2 questions. Or would that be 1? How will that affect a group that all was playing for 6.5 hours? And the ball, that ball that was hit, I think it was Will Smith, right? That kind of died on the track. Does a ball like that fly out of the building tonight because of the change in the weather?
It's warmer. What I would tell you is, okay, so in the long history of Dodger Stadium, that is what has taken place. At night, there's a marine layer, and the ball usually dies. And that is what happened last night. That's not actually what's been happening in this ballpark the last, 6-7 years. You know, the last 3 years, what the best home run hitters park in baseball is? In baseball, it's Dodger Stadium.
Wow.
So, I think tonight I didn't realize that it was happening as it was happening. I mean, I think it wasn't just Will Smith. Freddie Freeman hit one. Muncy hit one that came really close. But my guess is the ball will jump tonight. So that's my weather.
Did you take that class at BC as well? You missed out.
I did not, actually.
You missed out.
I think I was over at Mary Ann's while that class was.
Well, I was there as well. I just went after the class.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I'm not judging you.
All right. Sounds like you are.
I want to hear about that, not to get too personal as we let you go here, because we know you've got a World Series game to do. Tell us about the night then. So the night ends, and do you get a meal? Are you going right to bed? Are you able to get right to bed? How many hours you sleep? Take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, we got back to the hotel. I probably got to bed 2, something along those lines, and then I think I was up by 8. So I crashed a little harder. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fall asleep, but my body was tired. You know, we're slow getting out of the ballpark because, we're doing stuff for TV and that type of thing, and Buster and Jess and Eduardo, and you're just kind of winding down. And then for me, you're in a little bit of a trance. I think that the bigger thing is, you contemplate the idea of your voice, and is your voice okay? But the reality is it's more like my brain and the concentration that it takes.
Well, we appreciate you doing this for us today. It is an honor to have your broadcast, too, on our station. And thanks for being a good friend of ours, Boog. Thank you.
Boog.
Back at you guys. See you.
There you go. There's Boog Sciambi giving us a time before another World Series game when he didn't get to bed till after 2 a.m.